Hello and welcome to the video. I'm Not Only 25 and we're here today to find out what all the gatherable resource blocks inside POIs contain in 7 days. Welcome to Resourceville, a state-of-the-art testing facility that is cleverly disguised as stacks of haphazardly thrown together resources grabbed from the creative menu and thrown down on a random road. Alpha 21 introduced an absolute ton of new resource blocks. And if you're anything like me, you've just been shoveling them, crossing your fingers, and hoping whatever you end up with is relatively useful. Well, say goodbye to those days as we say hello to the new gatherable resource pallets and stacks in the POIs in 7 days. Actually, that link doesn't quite work. Why would I say hello to a pile of resources? Anyway, on with the video. Hello! Oh, darn it. Anyway. Let's start off with these different coloured pallets. Some of them come with a wood base, some of them come without. I'll show you in the creative menu here. It's these ones here. You get them with a wood base and without. They're all different colours, see? It's quite interesting. And they're identifiable by being a solid block that looks like it has a tarpaulin over it. Now these give a variety of different resources. They always have clay, and the ones on a wooden base always give wood. But they also have a chance to provide stone, sand, and cobble as well, but an equal chance to not give any of these. Clay is the only guarantee. It seems to be random with the others. Here you'll see I'll shovel 10 of the blocks and end up with a completely mixed bag of results. So that was around 10 blocks, and as you can see I've got a lot of clay, barely any sand, barely any cobble, and barely any stone. It's these three that have a chance, and this one that's all the time. There's a really interesting way to do it. I'm going to throw up a little table of results now from notes I took when researching this for those that care. Pause the video if you want to see this, otherwise the rest of us are going to get on with it. So those type of pallets are great for clay, but they're not so great for a targeted resource gather. Bulk goods pallets. Hello! Darn it. Confusingly, these next ones are called bulk goods pallets, but they're actually a much more focused resource than the one we just looked at. The way you can identify these is they look like piled sand or cement bags, basically. That's what they look like, isn't it? But they're all different colours, as you can see. But the interesting thing about these is they almost always just contain clay. On average, I got 35 clay per pallet, but it ranged between 31 and 40 per time. Now, there is something I need to tell you about these resources that interested me when I was doing my due diligence. I was going around shoveling all the different coloured bags, just in the off chance anything different popped up. And what do you know? If you shovel like this one here, for example, clay. Like I said, between 31 and 40 clay every single time. Like so. All these are the same. But a white one, well, that gives between 31 and 40 nitrate. And the black one here, that one gave an average of 6.5 coal per resource gather. So if you see a white one or a black one out in the POIs, just know they're nitrate and coal respectively. All these other ones are all clay, and this is what they look like again. Easy to get confused, by the way, between the white one and the grey one. So you might see this one and think, oh, there's a white one I heard about in that video. Oh, what? It's giving me clay. It's because it looks really similar to the white. The white and grey are very similar. But this one is the one that'll give you nitrate. Interested, no? If you're interested in some of the averages, like I said, coal was an average of 6.5. Nitrate was an average of 34.7 in my tests, and the clay was an average of 35.9. It's worth saying at this point that there are smaller versions of a lot of these pallets and stacks that are going to give you less resources than what I'm talking about. I'll show you what I mean. If we go to the creative menu, let's take an example of the cement here. So you've got cement there, you've got a little bag here, and you've got a medium bag here, and they're all going to give you different amounts, so stick these down. That's not even cement, that's flour, but still a pointless stand. This one has given me 4. That one gave me 3. That was the medium one. And this one gave me 1 because it's a tiny little one on its own. So just be wary of that. The different ones do give you different amounts. But we're focusing on this size, the biggest one, just for the purpose of ease for this test. And it's a big hello to the fertilizer. That's right, I'm leaning into it now. This one's nice and simple. It just simply gives nitrate with an average amount of 35. You can identify the fertilizer by looking at the purple bag. You'll see it out and about, and it literally says fertilizer on the front. Well, you know, it's a shame it's not the old fertilizer from the old Alpha 16 days. Am I right, guys? Guys? On average from these ones, I get about 35 nitrate per time. The electronic store pallet. Now this is an interesting one. This is the first one of the day that we need our impact driver for. So the electrical store pallet just looks like a stack of TV boxes. It's found in electronic stores like the Mo Power stores. And I'll be honest here, and I will admit that I didn't even know that these were a gatherable resource until I started this video. It's best to use a salvage tool for these, like a wrench, ratchet, or impact driver. I got an average of 6.4 paper, 2.5 polymer, and 3.9 electrical parts from these. Pretty useful if there's a lot of them about in one store. Now concrete. Concrete pallets have had a new look in Alpha 21. They're a sort of beige colour with an orange font that says concrete on the front. It doesn't really stand out so well like it used to. And weirdly, the sandbags look more like concrete bags and the concrete bags look more like sandbags to me in Alpha 21. Does anyone else find that? Anyway, this is another straightforward one. You get an average of 35 concrete from the big pallets of this. So if we just grab one here. Yeah, averages around about that 35 mark, like a lot of them do. And hello to the sand, identifiable by its greyish bag and snazzy logo. It simply says sand. It's rough and it gets everywhere. And like I said, as straightforward as that tagline is, the resource gathering straightforward, an average of 35. As usual, the ones with the wood at the bottom, they give you 3 wood per. Alright, another brand new one for Alpha 21. This one is a white pallet with a logo that says real flour. Interestingly, when you shovel this one, you actually get cornmeal. After shoveling 10 bags of this stuff, I got an average of 4.2 cornmeal. Not bad at all. Cow feed. This is a really interesting one that will please the farmer of your multiplayer group. The cow feed is a yellow pallet with a black trim and it has a silhouette of a cow on it with cow feed, make cows fat again written on the front. It's marketing genius. Now this one gives you corn seed, and the big pallets gave me an average of 4.1 seeds after 10 shoveled, which is great news if you like grilled corn. Ah, boxes, an old familiar resource. These brown boxes give you an average of 2 paper and 1.8 polymer when axed. There's plenty of these about, so if paper and polymer is something that you need lots of, it's got to be worth a quick gather, right? Bricks are another one that's been around a while, but they've had a bit of a redesign this go round, with some slightly different coloured bricks. The original red brick still in the game. All of these give you 50 stone when attacked with your pickaxe. An interesting side note, or not interesting, that's really up to you to decide. The old red brick pallet gives no wood at all. The 3 newer designs give 3 wood a time. All of them have a wooden base on the graphic. Berg report, anyone? The military pallet. Now when I first saw this I got excited and I thought, what's this going to be? Military fibre? Armour parts maybe? Now they do look cool, but I wouldn't waste your time with them as a resource. It's more of a decoration piece than a gatherable thing. If you're interested, I got a small average of 7.4 iron per pallet. With the big pallets having 300 HP, there's really much more efficient ways for you to gather iron. Speaking of, the pallet cans. Now this is the crushed can design that you don't see very often. I know I've seen them in that hoarder house and they have been in the game since Alpha 20. But they're pretty rare to see out and about, but they are fairly useful. A guaranteed 25 iron for a 100 HP block. That's more like it. Quick and simple. Now, compressed cardboard is the name of this one in the creative menu, but we probably know it best as paper. For the simple reason that upon being axed, that's what they give you. 25 paper a go, a nice reliable source of paper should you need it. Did I say paper enough then? Paper, paper! Ah, now tyre stacks. You see these about in gas stations or car workshop POIs. It's a really nice source of polymer. For a stack of 3 tyres, I got an average of 10.8 polymer after testing them 10 in a row. Not bad for those who are collecting polymer for a dew collector early game. Firewood is another old favourite. This is usually available in stacks, and it's usually in multiples, and it always gives 30 wood per stack for the bigger ones. So, with it being there in abundance in a lot of places, it's a really useful resource. You can always use wood in your game, so make sure you hit this up and you're way around the POIs. It's a really quick one to gather as well, nice and efficient. Now, we've got one called an OSB wood stack, along with the plywood stack and the wood plank stacks. Now, it doesn't matter which version of these wood stacks you hit, you always get a guaranteed 20 wood. It's not the most efficient, but it's useful in a pinch. The drywall stack. And no, I didn't know that these were supposed to be a drywall stack either, but now we know. We also know that they give 8 stone, 4 paper, and 10 sand per go. Metal pipe stacks. It's best to pickaxe these for a guaranteed 8 short iron pipes. You can often find this in POIs that are under construction. It's really useful early game as well for things like crafting pipe weapons or repairing pipe weapons. So there we have it. A quick guide of the available resource pallets and stacks you can find in POIs in your journey in Alpha 21. Do you like the changes that have been made? Do you miss the old blue cobble pallets? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new here and you're enjoying the content, why not subscribe today? And a special thank you to all the members of Team 25 who support this channel via Patreon and via YouTube channel memberships. Have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.